What secrets are held within the most epic landscapes of Scandinavia? How did nature craft Norway's most breathtaking natural wonders? There are places that defy the imagination. These are some of them. Geiranger, tucked between towering fjords, Geiranger holds the soul of Norway's wild landscapes, a harmony between human life and untamed nature. From the edge of this small village in Møre or Romsdal, pastel-painted houses cling to green slopes as waterfalls rush down cliffs over 1,300 feet high, or nearly 400 meters, and mist floats gently on cobalt waters far below. Long ago, glaciers carved this winding valley, and by the mid-19th century, word of its beauty lured travelers across Europe, leading to Geirangerfjord's eventual protection as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Standing here, you sense both serenity and awe, a quiet village dwarfed by the immensity of ancient stone and endless sky. While summer brings cruise ships and laughter, winter returns silence and snow, a gentle reminder of nature's cycles beyond our plans. In Geiranger, the boundaries between past and present, people and wilderness feel ever so thin, inviting us to wonder where the story of the land will flow next. Reine. Serenity and resilience define this tiny fishing village where the wild edges of Norway meet the calming embrace of the Arctic Sea. Nestled on the dramatic coastline of the Lofoten Islands, painted red and white cabins cluster along calm waters, mirrored by jagged peaks rising more than 2,000 feet, or over 600 meters, above the village, all softened by the delicate northern light. Founded in the late 18th century, Reine grew as a trading post and safe harbor, becoming a symbol of Nordic endurance amid centuries of hardship, storms, and screecod migrations that shaped not only its economy, but its culture. From the scent of salt air to the gentle clink of mooring lines, there's a quiet humility here, a reminder of both the fragility and fortitude at the heart of northern life. Each season, brings its own contradiction. Long, sunlit summer nights dissolve into endless polar dusk as life continues in tandem with nature's polar rhythm. And yet, standing on this windswept shore, one senses how the remote corners of the world often reveal the quietest depths of human belonging. Hamnøy, a fishing village shaped by wild tides and quiet perseverance, Hamnøy stands as a tribute to the enduring bond between humans and the Arctic Sea. Framed by jagged granite peaks and the deep indigo of the Norwegian fjords, this hamlet on the Lofoten Islands glows with the warm red of its råbur cabins, their reflections flickering on the frigid waters outside the northern town of Moskenes, Norway. For centuries, generations have braved the unpredictable waters of the Vestfjorden, casting their nets in search of cod, a way of life rooted since the days when Viking ships once navigated these same currents. There is a gentle hush here in winter, as if time pauses under the shifting pale blue of the polar sky, and even the restless sea yields to a rare tranquility. Yet beneath the serenity runs the memory of storms. Hamnøy endures, suspended between nature's harshness and brief, breathtaking calm. Standing at the water's edge, one is reminded how remote places like this quietly shape the human story far beyond their horizons. Henningsvær, on the outer edge of the world. Henningsvær is a quiet testament to resilience and ingenuity. This fishing village, nestled among the snow-dusted peaks and midnight blue waters of Norway's Lofoten Islands, seems to float between sea and sky, its colorful wooden houses perched along narrow rocky inlets, encircled by a cold North Atlantic shimmer. Since the 18th century, Henningsvær has thrived as a cod fishing outpost, drawing generations of families who braved waves and winter darkness to build a tightly knit community. Today, the iconic soccer field, set atop a tiny rocky islet, stands as a playful symbol of adaptation and unity. There's an understated pride here, as salted cod dries on wooden racks and the salt air mingles with the gentle hush of distant storms, reminding visitors of both hardship and hope. In Henningsvær, isolation brings creativity, and serenity walks hand in hand with the ever-present challenge of living at the edge, where the sun barely sets in summer, but vanishes for weeks come winter. So life continues, shaped by the sea, inviting each soul to consider what it means to carve out meaning in a place both distant and deeply connected to the rhythm of the earth. Nusfjord. At the edge of the world, Nusfjord stands as a living memory of Norway's enduring bond with the sea. Nestled between sharp granite cliffs and the emerald waters of the Vestfjord in the Lofoten Islands, this fishing village glows with rows of ochre råbu cabins perched on wooden stilts above the tide line, their windows catching the midnight sun as seagulls ride the salt-tinged breeze. For centuries, Nusfjord was one of Norway's busiest cod fisheries, with its roots tracing back over 1,000 years, and these weathered docks once echoed with the sounds of trade that traveled as far as Europe. There is a quiet resilience here, where each creak of the timber and each ripple on the water holds both the memory of hard winters and the hopefulness of spring returns. Life here balances stillness and motion, tradition and change, as old boats drift beside digital cameras and modern travelers. Nusfjord reminds us that even in the farthest corners, the meeting of nature and human spirit can create something timeless and universal. Ballstad. At the edge of the Lofoten Islands, Ballstad embodies resilience shaped by wind, water, and generations of quiet endurance. Salt-laden air brushes past red råbua, the wooden fishing cabins clustered along the rocky harbour, while distant snow-dusted peaks shift colour beneath the broad sky of northern Norway. For centuries, Ballstad has anchored itself as one of Lofoten's most important fishing villages, its boats setting out into the Norwegian Sea in search of cod, a tradition that once supplied Europe's tables and linked this remote peninsula to distant shores. There's a certain humility in these simple landscapes, where life is measured in tides, seasons, and the comfort of communal rituals. Here, the sharp lines of mountain meet the restless sea, and the sturdy warmth within each cabin stands in soft contrast to the wildness beyond the dock. In places like Ballstad, you sense how people adapt and persist, drawing meaning from nature's extremes, an ongoing story found wherever humans meet the unyielding edge of the world. Sakrisøy, a sleepy fishing village where tradition is treasured as deeply as the emerald waters that surround it. Golden wooden cabins sit in crisp rows along the narrow shoreline of the Lofoten Islands, Norway, their paint glowing under the low Arctic sun, as green mountains and cold, glinting seas edge every horizon. For generations, Sakrisøy has been a vital outpost in the archipelago's cod fishing legacy, with age-old racks stretching more than 6 feet, or nearly 2 meters, high to air-dry fish, a custom dating back to Viking times. Here, the silence carries the weight of memory. Each gust touches both the enduring rhythm of life and quiet moments of solitude by the water. It is a place defined by contrasts, rugged cliffs and gentle tides, harsh winters, and the gold-tinged, never-ending light. And standing at the edge of Sakrisøy, one wonders how many other remote corners still thrive quietly, holding on to the world's oldest stories. Flåm. In the heart of Western Norway, Flåm embodies a blend of quiet endurance and nature's grandeur. Pressed between emerald slopes and the glassy waters of the Aurland Fjord, this small village in the Vestland region glows under the gentle northern sun, where pastel houses cluster like wildflowers, and the aroma of damp earth greets each traveler. For centuries, Flåm's rivers carved channels through the valley, making it both a place of passage and a point of pause. When the 19th century Flåmsbane railway arrived, threading its winding tracks down more than 2,000 feet, or about 600 meters, it transformed Flåm into a portal connecting remote mountains to the wider world. Here, stillness has a slow heartbeat, amplified by the distant echo of waterfalls that never fully disappear into silence. Even beneath the weight of tourism and progress, Flåm holds gently to its rural soul, its days shifting quietly between old rhythms and the brief, bright visits of distant strangers. In a place shaped so profoundly by both water and time, one wonders how much of the world's story finds its reflection in these sheltered Nordic valleys. Undredal. In this riverside hamlet, the meaning of simplicity and resilience quietly endures. Tucked between steep emerald cliffs and the deep blue sweep of the Årlands Fjord, Undredal in Norway's Vestland region feels both isolated and intimately connected to the water's gentle rhythms. Wooden cottages cluster along narrow lanes, their red and white facades glowing softly beneath low, silver clouds. Life here has followed the flow of the fjord for centuries, its single wooden stave church dating back to the 1200s and standing as one of Scandinavia's smallest, its timbers seasoned by over 800 years of salt wind and prayer. There's a lasting tenderness in the way residents cherish their traditions, like crafting goat cheese in time-worn sheds, a reminder that small places can anchor the soul. The hush of Undredal is both comforting and restless, shaped by the tension between silence and the powerful pull of distant tides. As the fjord's surface shifts and mists drift overhead, Undredal quietly asks what it means to hold fast to one's roots, while the wider world rolls ever forward. Aurland, beneath snow-dusted peaks, this small village is a quiet testament to Norway's enduring relationship with the land and water. Along the glassy Fjord, in the Vestland region, weathered timber houses cluster near the shoreline, their colors muted by low-hanging morning clouds, while the scent of pine and fresh rivers carries through the crisp air. For centuries, Årland has been shaped by both isolation and ingenuity. First mentioned in Viking chronicles as a farming settlement, then later becoming a crossroads for trade and sheep herding when fjord travel linked remote valleys over distances greater than 15 miles, or about 24 kilometers. It feels both timeless and fleeting here, as if each gentle ripple on the fjord's surface holds centuries of memories, inviting quiet reflection on the fragile line between solitude and connection. Even as modern ferries glide past steep cliffs, the village's slow rhythm contrasts with the outside world's relentless pace, reminding visitors of nature's patience and humanity's capacity for resilience. Gudvangen, here lies a valley carved by the patient hand of time, where the core meaning is resilience amidst nature's grandeur. Nestled between sheer cliffs and the glassy drape of the Nærøyfjord, Gudvangen in Norway's Vestland region appears almost hidden. A scattering of turf-roofed cottages and winding footpaths beside emerald water reflecting the morning mist. Some 12 centuries ago, Viking settlers chose this remote corner as a starting point for their journeys, harnessing the currents of the fjord that stretches nearly 10 miles, or about 16 kilometers, deep into the mountains. Standing here, one feels both small and timeless, as if drawn into a world where myth blends quietly with the present, echoing with the soft hush of waterfalls. Gudvangen lives in contrast. The wildness of soaring rock faces, kissed by a gentle drizzle, fierce Norse history sheltered beneath tranquil skies. Bergen Bryggen, history weaves itself into every timber along the old wharf, where commerce and culture shaped the heart of Norway's coastal life. Soft morning light glimmers on rows of wooden warehouses in Bergen, Vestland region, their vibrant reds and ochres reflected in the still water that once welcomed Hanseatic merchants centuries ago. This waterfront has stood since the late Middle Ages, rebuilt after fires and storms, and today the UNESCO-listed district preserves the spirit of Bergen's golden era in trade, where sturdy buildings, standing less than 40 feet or around 12 meters tall, still bear scars and stories from as far back as the 14th century. Walking Bryggen now, one feels the echo of handshakes, laughter, and distant sails dissolving into the cool Nordic air. Even as the city's modern life hums just beyond these timbered walls, history and daily motion quietly coexist, each shaping the other. In every footstep between these slanted facades is the silent question of how places remember and how, over centuries, they teach us to remember as well. Røros village. Here, history endures in timber and stone, wrapped in the calm persistence of the Scandinavian north. Wooden facades, colored in soft ochres and reds, line the quiet streets of this mining outpost in central Norway, where chimney smoke drifts above snow-blanketed rooftops, and the hush of winter presses gently on the Trøndelag landscape. Founded in 1644, Røros became renowned for its copper mines, which once fueled the nation's growth and drew workers from distant towns, their legacy still echoing in the preserved architecture and the warmth of local craft. There is a certain resilience in these homes, shaped by centuries of cold winds and hard labor, yet the village feels tender, almost protective, against the vast, wintry openness surrounding it. The stern beauty of the Arctic meets the intimate rhythms of daily life, creating a balance between hardship and belonging. In Røros, we are reminded that identity often forms where endurance and warmth converge, waiting quietly to be discovered by those who linger. Skudeneshavn, along the southern tip of Norway's Rogaland region, Skudeneshavn is a living memory of the North Sea's quiet resilience. White wooden houses line narrow lanes, their windows reflecting the ever-changing light and the cobalt shimmer of the harbour, while a salty breeze lingers above cobbled quays. Founded early in the 19th century, this port blossomed during the Great Herring Boom, when hundreds of boats clustered in the inlet and wooden warehouses rose along the water's edge, shaping a community that would survive even as the Silver Shoals moved on. In Skudeneshavn, you sense how places shaped by the tides of work and weather can quietly carry their heritage forward, offering echoes to anyone who listens. Åndalsnes. In this place, shaped by ice and river, the meaning of arrival is written in stone and sky. Sheltered along the Rauma River, Åndalsnes in the region of Møre og Romsdal, Norway, glows beneath the towering walls of the Romsdalen Alps, where jagged peaks climb more than 5,000 feet, or beyond 1,500 meters, and the cold light of the fjord reflects stories both ancient and new. Once a humble railway junction, Åndalsnes became a symbol of resilience when the town was nearly destroyed in the battles of the Second World War, only to be rebuilt by the hands of its own people. Despite its dramatic cliffs and the sense of isolation, there is a gentleness here. Moss-soft valleys, tiny harbors, and the constant hush of water meeting land. It is a place caught between wilderness and welcome, where travelers are both guests and witnesses. In the shifting weather and silent spaces, every journey onward seems shaped by the quiet grandeur of this Norwegian fjord town, hinting at how landscapes can restore and redefine us. Geiranger Fjord, a living tapestry of stone and water. Geiranger Fjord embodies the timeless dialogue between Earth's forces and quiet human wonder. Smoothed by ancient glaciers, the valley unfurls beneath the pastel sky of western Norway's Møre og Romsdal, its turquoise waters framed by cliffs that tower over 1,500 feet, or about 460 meters, dripping with slender waterfalls that dissolve in the morning mist. Carved during the last ice age, this fjord became part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2005, recognizing its rare geology and the tiny, now deserted farms that for centuries clung stubbornly to green ledges. Walking the shoreline, a quiet awe seeps in, a sense of insignificance and connection, as if each echo or ripple links you to all those who have passed before. Here, the formidable cliffs and fragile meadows exist side by side, testament to both nature's permanence and life's stubborn impermanence. In places like this, the world feels both wide and intimate, calling us to listen for stories whispered in silence. Nærøyfjord, stillness here, carries its own message, a reminder of nature's quiet power to shape, to cradle, and to awe. Towering cliffs plunge down to the glassy water, their faces streaked with moss and the gentle white of lingering mist, while small boats drift beneath, dwarfed by the scale of Norway's Vestland region. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Nærøyfjord stretches for 11 miles, or about 18 kilometers. Its narrow channel, once serving as a Viking waterway, and now preserved as one of the world's most dramatic fjords. Amid silent echoes of stone walls, visitors find themselves balanced between solitude and wonder, held in the ancient hush of these northern lands. Even as sunlight flickers across the shifting water, shadow and light reveal how landscapes can be both welcoming sanctuary and formidable frontier. Here, the journey is not just distance traveled, but the slow unfolding of what it means to belong to something vast and enduring. Tromsø Fjords. Here, where Arctic silence drapes the water, the meaning of connection comes quietly alive. Pale morning light shimmers across the glassy inlets, cradling the city of Tromsø in northern Norway. Ice-blue mountains drawing reflections so clear they seem like memories. These fjords, stretching for more than 50 miles, or about 80 kilometers, sheltered Norse fishing settlements centuries ago, their depth shaped by glacial ice that once carved the old bedrock and let life flourish where harsh winds prevail. You feel the hush, the weight, and freedom mingling. Nature's grandeur, both steadying and humbling, as if the world slows to let you listen. Here there is a gentle tension between land and sea, between light of the midnight sun and endless polar nights, a place ever balanced between isolation and shared belonging. Standing on these quiet shores, you sense the living pulse of the Arctic, a reminder that remoteness too can draw us closer to the heart of our world. Svalbard Archipelago. Here at the northern edge of the world, Svalbard stands as a living testament to both human endurance and the profound solitude of polar wilderness. Low winter sun spills over the folded mountains and frozen fjords near Longyearbyen, Norway's northernmost town, where rugged peaks and endless sheets of pale blue ice stretch further than the eye can see. Settled by whalers and trappers in the 17th century, and later shaped by coal miners and international scientists, these islands hold stories carved by centuries of ambition and quiet isolation, all within a region just 600 miles or nearly 1,000 kilometers from the North Pole. Amid the silence broken only by the wind or a distant polar bear, you feel a mix of awe and humility, a reminder of nature's indifference and humanity's small but persistent presence. Here, cold darkness and brief blazing summers exist side by side, reflecting the tension between life at the edge and the comforting warmth of community. Jotunheimen, known as the home of the giants, this vast national park offers a landscape where nature's ancient power feels close at hand. Glacier-carved peaks rise abruptly above deep blue lakes and dense forests in the inlanded region of central Norway, their snowy crowns reflecting a sky swept by changing Nordic light. Protected since the year 1972, these nearly 350,000 acres, or around 140,000 hectares, hold some of Scandinavia's highest mountains, among them Galdhøpiggen, which towers over 8,000 feet, or 2,469 meters. Walking here, you are hushed by mountain silence and moved by the slow rhythm of wind over wild stone. Harsh winter snows and gentle summer meadows reveal the two faces of survival and beauty, always intertwined. Geirangerfjord. Carved by glaciers and time, this is a place where the earth quietly remembers its origins. Silver-grey waters wind through the lush valleys of Vestland, Norway, flanked by steep cliffs, draped in emerald forests, and dotted with weathered villages that cling at the water's edge. For more than 10,000 years, Geirangerfjord, stretching over 110 miles, or about 177 kilometers, has fed and sheltered Norwegians, shaping legends from Viking navigation to pioneering fruit orchards that still bloom with bright apple and cherry blossoms each spring. Standing here, the vastness blends with stillness, inviting a sense of awe and quiet connection to the land's ancient pulse. Yet, beneath the postcard calm, the constant movement of water and rock is a gentle reminder of nature's wild patience and silent transformation. Across continents, fjords echo the same story, places where what endures is written in both stone and the hearts of those who remain to witness. Vøringfossen. Water's raw power and nature's artistry meet in a symphony of mist and stone. As you stand at the edge of the Jostedalsbreen Valley in western Norway's Vestland region, Vøringfossen plunges more than 500 feet, or about 150 meters, down jagged cliffs, swathed in green. First chronicled by visitors in the early 19th century, the falls drew attention when local innkeeper Ole Gæren began guiding travelers along treacherous footpaths, marking Vøringfossen as one of Norway's first tourist wonders. There's a hush here, a feeling both exhilarating and humbling, as cold spray touches your face and the thunder of water reminds you of all that endures beyond our lifetimes. Yet, below the tumbling torrents, delicate wildflowers cling to the rocks, a reminder of how violence can cradle beauty. In a changing world, places like Vøringfossen echo the timelessness and resilience of the landscapes that shape us all. Aksla Viewpoint. At the summit of Aksla, the essence of Ålesund is revealed as the city stretches below like a tapestry woven with sea and sky. Cradled by the fjords of western Norway and watched over by the sharp embrace of mountains, Ålesund's Art Nouveau facades shimmer in pastel hues, their rooftops tracing gentle curves along the older streets. This panoramic platform, reached by climbing more than 418 steps, or about 127 meters, has welcomed locals and travelers since the early 20th century, offering a perspective shaped by both the scars and spirit of a place almost entirely rebuilt after the Great Fire of 1904. Standing here, there is a quiet sense of human resilience, how from disaster, communities can rise brighter and find beauty in new beginnings. The stillness above contrasts with the daily bustle far below, where fishing boats weave their routines against the lingering glow of the northern sun. From this height, you wonder what other stories are shaped when communities meet the forces and blessings of nature. Nordkapp, where land yields to an endless horizon, Nordkapp stands as the symbolic rooftop of Europe, inviting reflection at the edge of the world. Steep cliffs rise abruptly from the Barents Sea near the remote Finnmark region of northern Norway, crowned by windswept tundra and a solitary globe monument shimmering beneath summer's midnight sun or the winter's haunting aurora. For centuries, explorers and travelers made the long journey to this northernmost point, more than 1,000 feet above the waves, or about 300 meters, where 17th century sailors once navigated perilous waters at the limit of the known map. Nordkapp leaves us with the silent question of what boundaries still matter when you face the open world, with only nature's vastness beyond. Romsdalen Valley. At the heart of Norway's west, Romsdalen Valley is a silent tribute to the endurance of natural beauty and human awe. old rivers wind between towering cliffs just outside Åndalsnes, where raw stone walls rise more than 3,000 feet, or about 900 meters, above a lush, green floor, brushed with wildflowers and morning mist. Og Romsdal's most famous peaks, like the jagged Trolltunga, Europe's tallest vertical cliff, still echo with stories of daring climbers since the first successful ascents a century ago, when explorers first arrived by steam train, their curiosity as boundless as the valley's horizons. Standing here, you feel the hush that only ancient earth can conjure, where the air itself carries both suspense and peace. Atlantic Ocean Road, a living ribbon between land and sea. This place embodies the perpetual dialogue between human ingenuity and the wild Norwegian coast. Winding through the islands of Moray og Romsdal in Norway, the road arches and dips over sleek bridges surrounded by restless Atlantic waves and sweeping skies of shifting grey and blue shadows. Completed in 1989, this engineering marvel runs for just over 5 miles, or about 8.5 kilometers, and was originally conceived as a railway before becoming a roadway, a testament to how plans reshape with nature's will. Standing here, one senses both awe and humility as fierce ocean winds rattle the barriers and salt spray mists the air, reminding visitors of both human persistence and the raw might of nature. Atlantic Ocean Road seems steady, yet is forever at the mercy of the elements, a meeting point of shelter and exposure. Jostedalsbreen Glacier, a living relic of the Ice Age, Jostedalsbreen stands as a testament to the power of nature's persistence across millennia. Cloaked in luminous blue and ivory, this immense glacier weaves its frozen rivers through wild highlands and deep valleys of the Vestland region in western Norway, where shifting mist and silence shape the landscape's ancient majesty. Stretching over 37 miles, or close to 60 kilometers, it's the largest glacier on continental Europe. Its vast, icy tongue feeding fjords and lakes that have sustained nearby communities for centuries. Standing here, the air carries a chill that reaches beyond the senses, evoking both awe and humility in the face of time's slow procession.